Hi, I'm Jake. I make Pathfinder 2 videos, and mostly that's like all I do, because it's fun. I love them. So we're continuing with Howl of the Wild. Now we're covering grafting. Grafting rules. Grafts are living tissues that are implanted into a host where they integrate with the host's native biology. To implant a graft, you must be an expert in medicine and have the appropriate formula. Graft formulas can be purchased as outlined in the formulas rules, Player Core 294. You can take the Graft Technician feat below to implant grafts. Let's read that, because I'm thinking mad scientist-y already. Graft Technician feat 3. It's a general skill feat. Prerequisites: expert in medicine. You can create and implant grafts. When you select this feat, you gain the formulas for 4 common grafts of 3rd level or lower. You gain a +1 circumstance bonus to medicine checks to implant grafts. If you're a master in medicine, this bonus increases to +2. Pretty simple and straightforward. You get formulas for these things. Grafts are basically magic items. I'll read the details to you and how they work, but they're magic items that you can't uninvest. Implanting a graft. Implanting a graft is a downtime activity using the same rules as crafting an item, Player Core 236, except as follows. The grafter uses the medicine skill to affix the foreign organ to the willing subject, who must be present throughout the process. I don't hear anything anywhere in the rest of this that makes any sense with them required to be willing. Maybe that's just my GM mad scientist brain working, making plots of unwilling test subjects. But I think that was just to make people happy so that they're not suggesting something horrible and torturesome. But that's how plots are created, and that's why we need heroes, because there are horrible things happening. So I suggest to all GMs at the very least, ignore the willing part, or at least add NON before that. The grafter can implant only 1 graft at a time. Once the grafting process is complete, the implanted subject can begin using the graft. Grafts can be created from scratch, though they typically require specialized storage conditions, such as a tank of alchemical fluid, to remain viable outside of a host. Damaging a graft. Once a graft is accepted, it becomes part of the subject's body and can't take damage separately, just like any natural body part. If a graft is ever severed from the subject's body, it can be reconnected by any method that allows a severed body part to be reattached, such as the regenerate spell, or, I don't know, a needle and thread. If the graft is destroyed before it can be reattached, the subject typically can't restore it. The graft trait. A graft has the graft trait. Go figure. Items with this trait are permanently affixed to the subject's body and reduce the number of items a creature can invest each day by 1, like tattoos, if you're familiar. Each graft has the invested trait to indicate this limitation. A graft is equivalent to a magical item that the subject has no choice but to invest. If a creature gets a new graft when their limit on invested items has already been reduced to 0, the graft fails to provide benefits. The graft's abilities will take effect the next time the creature's limit on invested items is greater than 0. A grafter can replace an existing graft during the implantation process or upgrade a graft into its greater version, just like when crafting a greater version of an item. Now the grafts. Item 8. Alluring Lantern. This has the graft, invested, and magical traits. Price 450 gold. Usage: implanted. Bulk L. An antenna with a bioluminescent lure protrudes from your head, drawing enemies' attention. When not activated, the antenna lays flat and blends in with your hair or skin. This is so weird. You gain the ability Activate Raise Lure. 1 action. Manipulate mental visual, frequency once per day. Effect: until the beginning of your next turn, the lure raises above your head and lights up with multicolored flashes that draws creatures closer. Any creature that begins its turn within 20 feet of you must succeed at a DC 23 will save or become fascinated by the lure and must spend at least 1 of its actions to move toward you. The fascination ends at the end of the creature's turn. Pretty sure this could be a Merfolk level 9 Ancestry Feat. Why not? At 13th level, they have things that are more powerful. This seems to fit the power level. And it's cool. And it grows from you instead of you connect a little wire to your face. Next graft. Item 1. Bioluminescent Stripes. It has the graft, invested, magical, and light traits. Price 10 gold. Usage: implanted. Bulk meh. A line of glands embedded in your skin secretes a chemical that glows when it interacts with the air. As a single action, you can activate your bioluminescent stripes to glow with a bright light in a 20-foot radius and dim light for the next 20 feet. While you are glowing, you can't be undetected, and you take a -4 item penalty to stealth checks to hide and sneak. You can dismiss the glow as a free action. This is just a useful at-will light spell. Why not? It's simple. It's good. Why couldn't this be a first level Athamaru or Merfolk Ancestry Feat? Next, Graft. I don't hate Grafts. I really don't. I just think that if they're going to do this, they can make it make sense. That these Graft ideas come from creatures. That's the point of the Grafts and the point of Howl of the Wild. So what creatures do they come from? I don't know. We don't know. Just nothing. Next, Graft, item level 1 plus, Bristling Spikes. It has the Graft invested in magical traits, usage implanted, bulk, meh. Your exposed skin is covered in fine needle-like hairs that you can flick into the eyes of enemies. Ugh. You gain the ability, activate Urticating Burst. 2 actions, has the manipulate trait, frequency once per day, effect, you flick tiny spines in a 15-foot cone, dealing the listed amount of piercing damage to all creatures in the area with a basic reflex save. On a critical failure, the creature is also dazzled until the end of their next turn. Gross. It has 3 levels. Level 1 price is 15 gold pieces, the type is lesser. The DC is 15 and the spines deal 1d8 damage. The next type is moderate, level 3, price 60 gold pieces. The DC is 18 and the spines deal 2d8 damage. The next type is greater, level 7, price 360 gold pieces. The DC is 23 and the spines deal 5d8 damage. Instead of being dazzled on a critical failure, the target is instead blinded until the end of the next turn. I like that. It's pretty cool. It's neat. I will point out that the Athamaru can choose to have porcupine-like quills on their heads that they use to headbutt people. This makes perfect sense to make an ancestry feat for them. Next Graft, item 4 plus, Camouflaging Chromatophores. It's a great word. Uncommon, Graft invested magical, usage implanted, bulk, meh. Special cells in your skin can change color to help you blend in with your environment. You gain the listed item bonus to stealth checks to sneak and hide. You gain the activate background adaptation ability. It takes 2 actions. It has the concentrate trait, frequency once per day. Effect, for 1 minute, you can hide without needing cover or concealment to do so. Neat. This doesn't allow you to sneak without ending your movement in cover or concealment, however, as your skin's attempts to match the background as you move produce noticeable rippling waves of color. That's really pretty. That's a really cool ability. At level 4, it's 95 gold pieces. The type is lesser. The bonus is +1 to your checks. Your sneaky checks. The level 9 type is greater. Price 665 gold. The bonus is +2. And you can use background adaptation once per hour instead of once per day. That's pretty neat. I like that. And it looks freaky as hell. Next Graft, item 4. Compound Eyes. This has the Fortune Graft invested in magical traits, price 75 gold pieces, usage implanted, bulk, meh. You replace your eyes with one similar to an insect or crustaceans, which allow you to better pinpoint movement. Once per day, when you attempt a flat check to target a creature that's concealed from you, you can roll twice and take the better results. Insects or crustaceans' eyes aren't better than human eyes in every way, so I think you should just add them to your face, not remove your eyes to replace them. But that's me. Next Graft, item 4, Distracting Carapace. Graft invested and magical traits. Price 80 gold pieces, usage implanted, bulk, nah. Your skin is studded with pieces of iridescent chitin that ripple like oil on water. Pretty. When you move your body in a distracting way, your allies can take advantage to move stealthily. When you aid an ally who is trying to create a diversion, instead of the usual effects of aid, you can roll an acrobatics or performance check and use the result to determine the outcome of the diversion instead of attempting a deception check. That's great. Look at me over here, guys. Look, I'm so flashy. Next Graft, item 10, Echo Receptors. It has the uncommon Graft invested in magical traits. Price 950 gold pieces, usage implanted, bulk, nah. You can sense your surroundings using sonic pings rather than relying on your vision. You gain echolocation at 40 feet, allowing you to use hearing as a precise sense. That's right, you are the machine that goes ping. It's a cool Graft. Next Graft, item level 8, Gills. Graft invested in magical traits. Price 450 gold pieces, usage implanted, bulk, nah. Delicate folds in the skin just behind your ears ripple as water flows over them. You can breathe underwater. Okay, yeah. You're Kevin Costner in Waterworld. It's as simple as that. I think that is a worthwhile magical item Graft thing. You can just always breathe underwater. Next Graft, item level 3 plus, Gliding Membranes. It has the Graft Invested and Magical traits. Usage Implanted, Bulk Light. Membranes that stretch between your arms and torso help you convert a fall into a glide. Treat falls as 25 feet shorter. Even if you take fall damage, you can land on your feet by succeeding at a DC 15 acrobatics check. For the lesser type, that's level 3, price is 50 gold pieces, and what I just read is what it does. For the greater type, that's level 7, price 340 gold pieces, you treat falls as 50 feet shorter instead of 25. So, it's good. It is. Or you could just, like, take Catfall and have acrobatics. Okay, alright. Next graft, item level 3 plus, Piercing Horn. It has the Graft Invested and Magical traits. Usage Implanted, bulk meh. A beast's horn or horns have been grafted onto your skull. You gain a horn unarmed attack that deals 1d8 piercing damage. This horn is in the Brawling group. For the level 3 version, it's 52 gold pieces. Wow, 52 gold pieces. And that is called a Piercing Horn. The level 7 horn is called a Goring Horn and is 320 gold pieces. It says your horn unarmed attack gains the Forceful and Shove traits. That is useful to attach to your head. Sure. I'm one that is all for natural weapons. They are fun and useful to have on reserve or to even focus your character around so you can do other shit with your hands, like hold a thaumaturge implement and a shield. Next graft, item level 3 plus, Sharpened Canines, Graft Invested and Magical traits. Usage Implanted, bulk nope. Some of your teeth have been replaced with those of a larger meat-eating predator. You gain a Jaws unarmed attack that deals 1d6 piercing damage. These Jaws are in the Brawling group. For the level 3 version, it's 50 gold pieces. It's called Sharpened Canines. For the level 7 version, it's 320 gold pieces, and it's called Bleeding Canines. The damage die for your Jaws... This is for the level 7 version. The damage die for your Jaws unarmed attack increases to 1d8, and whenever you score a critical hit with your Jaws, your target takes 1 persistent bleed damage per weapon damage die. Nice, handy, really cool. Anybody can easily gain unarmed attacks with these grafts. And I love that. I am a big fan of that. I'm all for it. Next graft, item level 3 plus, Slashing Claws. It has the traits Graft Invested, Magical, Usage Invested. I should say Usage Implanted. Some slight discrepancy of terms in here. Anyway, there is no bulk. Sharp claws have been grafted to your hands or feet, perhaps extending from your knuckles or the tips of your toes. You gain a claw unarmed attack that deals 1d4 slashing damage. These claws are in the Brawling group and have the Agile and Finesse traits. For the level 3 version, it's 50 gold pieces. The type is called Slashing Claws. For level 7, it's 320 gold pieces, and the type is Deadly Slashing Claws. The damage die for the 7th level 1 for your claw unarmed attack increases to 1d6, and it gains the Deadly d8 trait. Cool. That's better than some other Ancestry unarmed attack feats or heritages. Next graft, level 3 plus, Spry Sinews. It has the traits Graft Invested, Magical, Usage Implanted, Bulk Nah. The tendons in your legs are uncommonly stretchy. When you leap, increase the distance traveled by the listed amount. For the level 3 version, it's 55 gold pieces. The type is called Lesser. And you increase the horizontal distance of your leap by 5 feet and the vertical distance by 3 feet. That's again for the level 3 version. Level 11 version is 1300 gold. It's called Greater, and it says you increase the horizontal distance of your leap by 10 feet and the vertical distance by 6 feet. Useful, but I don't care. Like, if I'm level 11, I'm not going to bother with that implant. That's not actually good enough to me. Third level one's good, because you don't have other options at that level. At 11th level, you have a lot more options of magical items or archetypes or other classes or just, I don't know, stuff you've picked up along the way, skill feats. Next graft, item level 5, Squid Ink Sack. I mentioned this in the Merfolk video. It has the Graft Invested and Magical traits, price 160 gold pieces, usage implanted, bulk nah. Sacks full of dark ink have been implanted inside your mouth, allowing you to spit it forth. You gain the Activate ability for Spray Ink. It's one action. It's a Manipulate ability. Frequency once per day. Effect, you splatter ink in a 10-foot cone, covering creatures and revealing invisible ones. Each creature in the area must succeed at a DC 20 reflex save or become covered in ink. If a creature has its invisibility negated by this ink, it is concealed instead of invisible. A creature can negate the effects of the ink by spending 2 interact actions to wipe off the ink. Critical success, the target is unaffected. Success, the target's invisibility is negated for 2 rounds. Failure, the target is blinded for 1 round. Its invisibility is negated for 1 minute. Critical failure, the target is blinded for 10 minutes. Its invisibility is negated for 10 minutes. Holy shit, that's awesome. It's only item level 5. If this graft is used underwater, you can instead choose to release the ink in a 10-foot emanation. The resulting ink cloud lasts for 10 minutes. All creatures in the ink cloud become concealed, and all creatures outside the ink cloud become concealed to creatures within it. That's wonderful. You know how else this would work well? As a 5th level merfolk ancestry feat for a squid merfolk. Huh? Huh? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I think you're smelling what I'm selling. Next level item. Next graft item level 17. Swooping Wings. Graft invested and magical. Price 15,000 gold pieces. Usage implanted bulk 1. A pair of feathered wings are anchored to your shoulder bones. You gain a 25-foot fly speed. That is nice and very straightforward. This is how much it costs to have a flight speed at this level. Great. Useful. Good. I like it. Item level 9 next. The graft is Toxic Blood. Graft invested magical and poison traits. Price 650 gold pieces. Usage implanted. Bulk nah. Your blood flows with tetrodotoxin or a similar toxin, poisoning enemies who dare to bite you. Creatures that damage you with an attack using their mouths, such as a jaws or fang strike, must attempt a DC 26 fortitude saving throw. Critical success, the creature is unaffected. Success, the creature is sickened 1. Failure, the creature takes 2d6 poison damage and is sickened 1. Critical failure, the creature takes 4d6 poison damage and is sickened 2. Jesus. This is really nice. How does it not affect you? This gives you no resistance to poison. Even your own. It makes no sense. But okay, sure, whatever. It's magic. It says it's magical. It must be magic. Next graft, item level 7. Tube worm gland. Isn't that great? I'd like a tube worm in me, please. Graft, invested in magical traits. Price 330 gold pieces. Usage implanted. Bulk, nah. Thanks to a graft from a hardy deep sea invertebrate in your stomach, you can ingest food and water that would be toxic to others. You gain a +2 item bonus to fortitude saving throws against ingested diseases and poisons because you have a magical tapeworm. Doesn't everybody want a magical tapeworm? It only costs 330 gold for a magical tapeworm. It's great. Next graft, item level 3, Venom Glands. It has the graft, invested, magical, and poison traits. Price, 55 gold pieces. Usage, implanted. Bulk, nah. Your salivary glands are modified to be capable of spraying a deadly venom. You gain a poison spray unarmed ranged attack with a range increment of 10 feet that deals 1d4 poison damage. On a critical hit, the target is also sickened 1. This is wonderful. This is level 3, and you get a poison spray that goes 10 feet that makes him sickened. This is good. Oh, I like this. This is a good graft. Yes. Next graft, level 3 plus. Whip Tail. Graft invested and magical traits. Usage implanted. Bulk light. You have a strong prehensile tail. You gain a tail unarmed attack that deals 1d6 bludgeoning damage. This tail is in the brawling group. You gain a +1 item bonus to acrobatics checks to balance and 2 athletics checks to climb. You can also use your tail for the grab and edge action, even if your hands are otherwise occupied. This is a great magical item permanent ability. This is so good. Wow. Okay, how much is it? 45 gold. That's not bad. For a permanent, yeah. This is good. Anyway, level 3 version is 45 gold. It's called a Whip Tail. Level 7 version is 320 gold. It's called a Constricting Whip Tail. At level 7, you can use your tail unarmed attack to grapple. Even if you don't have a free hand, you gain a +2 item bonus to athletics checks to grapple. Something this doesn't say is that this fulfills a prerequisite of taking the Flip It dedication. The Flip It contestant archetype dedication. This is good. I love when things in the book help other things in the book. This shows forethought, and it's extremely useful. That's a very good graft. And then we look at the little dwarf man with a big long tail sticking out of his butt that's really, really blurry. I think that's supposed to look like speed, but it could have just been laziness on the part of the artist. I'm not saying it was, but it could have been, because it looks like it. Thank you for joining me for Grafts. And if you're one of my patrons, thank you. I love you. I love you so much. I want you to be mine. Yeah, you know I'm weird. That's why you're here. Or you've just accepted it by now. Anyway, thanks. So, the rest of the Howl of the Wild video series is here. And we'll do builds this time over here. Thanks. Okay. Bye.